This episode of Poetic Properties with Kamplexx is brought to you by Infinitely Complex Production and sponsorship with Peacefully Flawed Apparel, where we believe that no matter the darkness, we have the opportunity and ability to get to the light. Thank you for tuning in to the Poetic Property Podcast. I am your host, Kamplexx the Poet, father, author, and entrepreneur. I want to thank you guys for tuning in this week. I hope you guys had a very uplifting week, a very productive week. It's getting there for me, but it was a serious struggle this week. I found that I have a nerve clot, and I'm just saying that because I don't know any other way to explain it, in both the left side of my hip and my arm. And it's creating a ridiculous amount of pain, but I'm glad that it's narrowed down to those spaces so that I can start therapy. But it has been hindering and messing up my sleep for I don't know how long, and just having to deal with that pain is something that I don't wish on anybody, along with everything that I've been going through mentally with just life, Work was super duper annoying yet again, but my supervisor really, had really showed me something that gave me, the ounce of positivity that I needed to get through the week, to be honest, because I feel like this lady that she just picks at me for no reason, and it's beyond annoying. And she was attempting to do that last week, and he stood up for me without me having to, really get into it and make it into an issue, because I'm just tired. I just want to do my work and go home. I don't want the extras. It's too much stuff that I'm trying to build within my own business. It's too much that I'm trying to help people with along this mental health journey. I know people have their days that they're able to, be allies to people with mental health, but people who are actually struggling through it, this is an everyday thing that we have to fight. And so I want to be able to keep the awareness up the best that I can throughout the year. That's another reason, that I do this podcast. So I'm going through that. I went through that this week with my job. I told y'all I had been training new employees for at least 6 months at this point, and both of the last two employees that I was training are no longer at the company. And it wasn't a me thing, or it isn't a me thing. It's once they, got to doing the work and stuff like that, it just wasn't a fit. But I've been exhausted, right? It's been really, because I really was trying to just give, the best energy that I could to make sure that they understood what was going on and things like that. And it just, it didn't work out for them. But on the flip side of that, I had to put in that time with them, and, no love lost or nothing, but it was time wasted. And remember, I was telling you guys, I feel overwhelmed because it's 8 hours a day, every day. And so it's just weird. It's just weird and frustrating that I'm having to do that, not really knowing if if my time is going to be appreciated or not. And you guys know how I feel about, my time being wasted. I don't find comfort in that at all. I know not too many people do find comfort in people wasting their time, and maybe I'm saying it wrong. It's an irritating thing for me. And so with that, this week I just was kind of frustrated, just making sure that I did my part in doing the accounts that I was supposed to do or whatever. But it was frustrating. It was really, really frustrating to have to deal with that. Like to continue to have to deal with that. And again, I know it's corporate America, and that's why I'm working so hard to make sure that I'm handling my business so the business could grow. I've been talking about how in order for it to grow, I have to let some things go. And so I started, like for real, this weekend, I started deleting stuff, rearranging stuff on the apparel site. I started looking again into marketing. I started, just really figuring out and pinpointing the brand identity of what I want it to be and what I don't want it to be. And I started to realize it's not because in my head, I know I know as a whole, it's a great idea of what I'm trying to do. I also know that we're in a world where if you don't allow people to be invasive in how you produce your songs, your product, your food, like if you don't let them behind the scenes of what you're doing, you won't get a lot of support. And I don't know, like that's weird to me because I've never been like I don't need to see excuse me, I don't need to see how you make something. Right? I don't need to see how you make it. If I like it, I like it. I don't care if it's, from a small business or a large business. Like we as people, we don't go and try to sit in the kitchen at restaurants. We don't go and try to sit, and watch the shoe manufacturers build shoes. We don't do that to big business, right? But when it's a small creator or small business, like the idea is, they're not making that, and they're not doing this, and they're not doing that, and it's like no matter if I'm hands on, and this is something that I just want to get out, just in general, right? Because we have to get out of this as a people. No matter if it's my idea, or no matter if it's your idea that you came up with, and then you give it to someone to create it. It's just as good as if you have the idea and the equipment to build it yourself, or to sew it yourself, or to paint it yourself, or to wrap it. It's still your idea. I had to really, like, I've been battling that. I've been really battling that because I have good ideas, but the numbers don't show. I have good poetry, but it doesn't show. I have, the podcast is really good, but the numbers don't show. And I'm not even a numbers guy for the sake of saying I am the best at what I do. I'm only a numbers guy as it results to what I'm putting forth is something positive. Is something that can be very pivotal in someone's life, but they don't tend to see it, or don't tend to support it because I don't have the behind the scenes type stuff. And that was messing with me to the point where I was like, all right, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to figure it out and stuff like that. And I've always believed this, but you get challenged with it. And my belief is that whoever is supposed to support you will support you. They'll find it. Whoever is supposed to support, or whoever it's intended for, they'll find it when it's supposed to be found, right? This is why it's important that for me, I do it because I want to do it. I do it because like I do the apparel because it's therapy for me. Being able to keep my brain occupied and come up with new ideas and challenge myself with coming up with things, no matter how simple or difficult, that's my therapy. I get on this podcast and, I give my best foot forward. Production may not be top notch, or, video might not be top notch, but I care about what I'm telling the people. If you can see me clear enough and hear me clear enough, then you gonna understand that the things that I'm bringing forth is bigger than it's bigger than the view. It's bigger than the sound. I'm clear enough. The view is clear enough. So I'm in a space in this week. Like I said, I challenged myself to just like, yo, you gotta understand. Everybody not thinking like you. Everybody don't have the same passion as you to be supportive of anybody that it fits what you're trying to go to move towards. Like that's why I don't get mad when I don't get mad when people don't comment, or I don't get mad when people don't like or stuff like that, because I've said this a million times. Self-help is a very difficult thing to support. You have to be ready for that. As logical as it is to have self-love, to have accountability, to have self-awareness, like you have to be ready for that, because that shit will tear you up if you're not ready. It'll put you in a position, it'll put you in a very bad mental state if you start, if you aren't ready to, excuse me. It'll put you in a very bad mental state if you start trying to attack accountability and you're not mentally ready. If you are being forced to how can I say, if you are being forced to realign yourself, whether, it's with bad energy, like whether you have an attitude problem, whatever it is, you have to be ready for that. And it takes people a lot of time to want to get to that point of, all right, I'm done just living life. I'm done just, trying to just have fun. I'm done living reckless. I'm done. Like, you have to be ready for that. And so I do the podcast because, again, that's another form of therapy for me to get it out of my head. But somebody's going to hear this one day and be like, yo, that's crazy, because when this was recorded, I wasn't ready. It offended me. When I listened to that podcast, it offended me. Not because it's something mean, it's something, like I'm attacking people. It's solely because we don't be ready. Like it's that sense of you talking about me, and I don't want to hear that. When in reality, like, I'm talking about me. I'm telling you what I'm going through. I'm telling you what I had to fought through. Like Hov say, I'm going through that so you don't have to go through it. I'm going through it so you don't have to keep fighting yourself to be who you are. You're not fighting yourself because you're scared to be that. It's okay. The overall goal of this podcast is to make sure that we are all holding ourselves accountable, that we are all able to think logically, and lower that emotional threshold that makes us make the decisions that we make. I want everybody to be loved. I want everybody to have family love. I want everybody to have a supportive circle. I want everybody to have all of that. But I want everybody to be strong enough to stand by themselves in the event that all of that is not healthy for you. That's where I'm at with this podcast and how I get to the people. So going through it this week, it's a battle. It's a battle, and that's why for me it's important for me to do these mental health checks. And it's important for me to, tell you guys when I'm having good weeks or having bad weeks, and tell you why, so that you won't think that I'm just sitting here as a person who's beat the depression or beat the anxiety. Like, I'm fighting with y'all. That's what I'm saying, or that's why I'm able to say, yo, it can be done, but you have to be willing to go there with yourself. You have to be willing. Like, a lot of times we are our biggest enemy. We are our own boss level. Like, we'll in one breath we'll feel encouraged and we'll feel like we can get something done, but then that self-doubt kicks in because of everything else that's around us. I saw this person try this. I saw this person try that and it never worked. And that's what I want to do. But they had a difficult road, so I'm going to quit. Like, I see so many people copying people, right? Like, verbatim. And the original person will do something and it'll get like mediocre attention. The second person will do it and it'll get like high praise and stuff like that. And that person who originated is like, man, like, I can't believe that, they're not giving me credit for this and they're not giving me credit for that. Excuse me. We have to start understanding that we can do whatever. I know it's frustrating when people steal your ideas. I know it's frustrating when people get more attention than you for what you're doing, right? Once you put an idea out there, it's human nature for people to take that idea and act like they never saw it, heard it, done it, whatever, right? In the same on the other side of the same coin, that should encourage you that I'm going to do whatever idea that I have. I don't care if a similar idea is out there. I'm going to do that because this is the slight difference that I see that could make that better. Like, I used to watch and listen to podcasts, right? This is why I went through the journey of what I did of trying to figure out the camera, trying to figure out the sound, trying to figure out the camera and the sound, trying to figure out the lighting, trying to figure out the camera, sound, and lighting, where to put the lighting, what type of mic to get, how to set it up. Like, from watching other podcasts, I had already said in my mind, I'm not doing content-wise what everybody else is doing. I had to fight that. I still have to fight that all the way on episode 76, because no matter how passionate you are about something, no matter how much you believe in what you are doing, you get that idea of, dang, nobody's listening because right now it's the NBA Finals. You're not talking about basketball. Hockey is going on and you're not talking about hockey. New music just dropped and you're not talking about new music. And so it's like, there was days that I took my notes and I'm like, all right, I'm a slip in a movie, or I'm a slip in music, or I'm a slip in sports and stuff like that. But I had to check myself. If there's 50 million platforms that are doing music, media, sports, entertainment, why I'm gonna jump in there? And why would I even do that? To me, that's clickbait. That's false. Because I don't care about none of that. Like, for real, if you look at my business model and my life, it all flows together. It all does. Because I got tired of like, I always say when I'm doing my podcast, I'm very clear on what I'm saying, who I'm saying it about, how I choose to say it, because I never want to be the person to say something on here and tell y'all I'm going through something and try to help y'all go through, help y'all get through it. And then I post something or I post a clip and somebody that knows me in real life be like, bro, that's not it. Like that's what keeps me accountable, because I'm not out here trying to point fingers at nobody. This is about accountability. This is about me. So I make sure I'm very clear in how I say things and who I say things about. Or when I'm triggered, I'm very clear and very meticulous about how I explain the issue, because it's not about offending nobody. It's not about getting people on my side. It's more so about me just letting you know this is real life and you have to find a way to get through it the best way that you can. So as I'm going through the mental health checks and I need y'all to understand that these ain't complaints. These aren't woe is me type situations. This is me like trying to let you know, I know you go through it. And in your mind, it seems like you're complaining. It seems very little. But the more you keep that stuff in your mind, it's going to compound and then you're going to explode unnecessarily. I chose the job. I get it. I get it. But you get into a position to where it's like, all right, right now I can work from home. I could do, the hours that I need to do. And I'm not inconvenienced with not being in my kids' lives. That was a big thing for me when I started being able to work from home because of my heart condition. Being able to see my kids literally every single day. Drop them off at school, pick them up. I'm not in traffic. Right? The first part of their lives, you an hour to work, 8 hours to 10 hours work, an hour back. By the time you get home, it's time for them to go to sleep, get in the bath, eat, go to sleep. Now me being able to work from home, I'm here whenever they need me, whenever they need to talk, whenever they, have issues at school. I'm able to, hey, I have to go up to the school real quick. Their school is 9-10 minutes away. I can deal with that. I can go to assemblies. I can do all of that from here. I know I chose the job. That doesn't change that the job is fucking annoying. It doesn't change how people should be treated with respect. It doesn't change how, you should be able to work in peace and it just be that. But that's not America. That's not corporate America. But again, it's not to complain. It's not to make you guys try to have sympathy. It's to let you know, hey, if you don't do therapy, you need somebody that you can just be like, man, fuck this job. Because every now and then you got to say that, because they trip. Corporate America, they want so much and give so little. But again, it ain't about them. I chose the job. I got to deal with it or quit. That's why I'm working so hard in doing what I'm doing to build the business. I realized this week that I really be trying to stay extremely busy. I really be trying to stay so busy, and or I just be asleep. And I'm trying to get out of that. I'm trying to be able to deal with what I need to deal with while I'm wide awake doing everything. I know that I need a secondary source of distraction so that I'm able to kind of not feel overwhelmed about things. But I'm trying to get out of that black or white of the mental stuff, because I'm losing time. I can't help my energy level. I wish I could, because when I'm in the fog, I'm extremely exhausted, like can't do anything, and it sucks. But when I'm up, my mind is racing. So when I'm trying to do stuff with the apparel, it doesn't come out correctly because I'm trying to deal with whatever it is that's attacking me mentally. So then I start writing the poetry and I feel like, oh my God, this is so extreme of what I'm saying. And so I'm like, I'm not gonna do that just right. I'm not gonna do that right now. Because sometimes when my real feelings are expressed, it could sound a bit out there. And I decided that I'm not blocking that no more. I want to give all of me to what I'm giving it to. If I'm doing this podcast, I want to give all of me. I want to be honest. I want to be vulnerable. I want to help. If I'm doing the poetry, I want to be honest. I want to be raw. I want to be informative. If I'm doing the apparel, I want to be authentic in what I'm doing. And these battles that I have, it's overwhelming. It really is. And it sucks because depression and anxiety messes with your memory, right? For whatever reason, everything that I'm trying to forget is still in my head. All the chaos, all the trauma, all of that I'm trying to get out of my head is still there. But things that I feel that I need to move forward, things that I feel that have helped me grow, like experiences that I've had that are positive, it's hard for me to hold on to them. Because there's so much trauma. It's an overload of trauma that the triggers immediately erase the good stuff. I got to fight for that. This is why I say respect the person who is going out of their way to remain peaceful. That evil that is natural to them, that negative energy that is natural to them, they fight in that. Do you know how hard it is to be forgiving? You know how hard it is to be like, all right, you got it. Because you battling the stereotypical idea of being a punk, being soft, allowing people to run over you, and you wanting peace. I just want peace. I'm not soft. I'm not scared. I'm not running. I just want peace. Because my response is naturally aggressive. My response is naturally, let's fight. My response is naturally, fuck all this shit. Naturally. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that because it's not help. Like, what am I gaining for that? We're stuck in this idea that everything is a win or a loss, right? Like, I can't do good unless you do bad. I don't know where that came from and why it is, but that is like some of the dumbest shit that ever. Like, what are we really getting from that? Right? All right, I won, you lost. Now what? I'm right, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're right, I'm wrong. What? Now what? Like, what are we really gaining? Like, the reality is, if I lost the job, lost the argument, lost the fight, now what? Like, if you beat me up or I beat you up, the opinion didn't change. It just hurts a little bit more. Like, think about that. If I get into a physical fight with you over a difference of opinion, right? You beating me or me beating you or we beating each other, it doesn't change the opinion. We're just tired and hurt now. That's how I think about stuff. Okay, cool. You want to argue what's going to be gained or lost in the argument. How important how important is it that you know that you are right, and how versus how important it is that that there's growth made from this. This is why, for me, I say I don't care about other people's perspective in regards to how they do me or the things that have been done. This is why I don't seek revenge. This is why I don't, I don't be arguing. It's not going to change. If I tell you you hurt, like, why? Like, you hurt me. You know what you did. You know what you said. You know how you behaved. Vice versa. I know what I said. I'm not one of them. Like, I used to want to explain why you hurt me. I used to want you to understand you did me wrong. You said this, you treated me like this, you put me down. You didn't believe it. Like, I used to want you to understand. You understood it when you did it. What benefit do I have of trying to make you understand what you did? We get caught up in feeling like we have to be a part of everybody's life. We get caught up in, oh, that's this. I've known this person for years. I could never not talk to them. I could never not be around them. Oh, this is family, whether we be blood or a family that you created. I'm not talking about small debates. I'm not talking about the tit for tat that you do in a playful, annoying way. I'm talking about real life issues of people doing you wrong, people disrespecting you, people treating you less than a human being. I don't need you to understand that. You did that. You was there. And so for me, and what I hope to express to whoever listens to this podcast, stop fighting. Stop trying to get people to understand. Stop. They're there. They know. They have common sense. Don't let them, because only thing that's going to happen is they're going to say, but I know I said this to you, but you could be not doing anything, not saying anything, but I know I slapped you, but you yelled at me. I know that you are trying, but it's not good enough for me. They were there. So when I'm dealing with people, I'm like, now what? And my now what is, do I give a fuck if I talk to this person again? Like, for real, for real? Because if I do, I'm going to argue with you. I'm going to be chaotic with you. And I'm going to do all that. Because I know the now what is, I still want you around me. I know that I'm wilding out. I know that you're wilding out. And we have to figure it out. But that's the one offense, two offense type situations for me. Anything past two, deuces. I'm not going to keep letting you, I'm not going to, it's like you keep slapping me and I know you keep slapping me, but I keep coming back to let you slap me. That's a me thing, right? First time, maybe you was confused. Second time, you tried me. Third time, all right, you want to be chaotic, and I don't want to be that. I'm too old for that. So I'm not arguing. I'm not fussing. I'm not fighting. I'm like, all right, you got it. Because my now what is isolation. My now what is, all right, we're going to have boundaries or we're not going to have connection. We're going to have respect or we're not going to have connection. You don't get to tell me how you respect me. You're going to respect me how I've earned the respect. We get lost in that, right? Respect is not equal across the board. What you like, yeah, there's basic respect, like, don't yell at me, don't put your hands on me, don't call me out my name. But people have their perspective of respect towards them, and you have to be able to handle that. You have to. We in a world that don't respect boundaries, whether it be racial boundaries, whether it be age boundaries, whether it be sex boundary. Like we're like nobody respects boundaries, and everybody has a negative opinion about everybody's boundaries. That's what throws me off, is that it's never a simple, like, if I don't agree with you, and this is me, how I've lasted so long without having really many conflicts. My disagreement of what you are doing, saying, how you are living, don't give me the right to judge you. I just don't do that. The way that I live, eat, sleep, drink, like, you don't have to do that. I do that. But you don't have to tell me how horrible it is or how weird it is, or like, you could just be like, no, I don't do that. That doesn't exist in society. And people are so scared to just, instead of arguing, just saying, all right, the now what is, I can't fuck with you. If you look at the news, you look on social media, wherever you see, hear, whatever, wherever you get your news from, just pay attention to the articles you read. It's people being judgmental. It's people not understanding, like, everybody don't live like you. And until we get to that point of understanding and respecting that, it's always going to be conflict. Always. It's always going to be a headache of trying to live your life, because people just go out of their way to be negative. It's certain things that I refuse to have conversations about. Not because it's not interesting, not because there's no information in it, not because anything other than it doesn't apply to me. It doesn't apply to me. I'm not going out of my way to find things that I don't agree with and or don't like, or it doesn't apply to me. So why am I going to look for that to be negative towards that thing? Like for me, dogs scare me, right? I have a fear of dogs. I have since I got bit by one of my uncle's dogs when I was little. I don't go in people's yards with dogs and talk, oh, dogs are killers and dogs are like, I don't do that. I got bit by a dog. It created a fear of dogs, but I'm not disrespecting dogs. Why? Because I seen them do positive things. I seen them save people's lives. I seen how, people love their dogs and they create these bonds and friendships with the dogs. I just can't. I see people go out of their way to find articles about gay people and transgender people. I see it. They go out of their way to say how crazy it is, and you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. I see people go out of their way to disrespect interracial relationships. It doesn't apply to you. That is a mental disease that you have, that you feel like your opinion to be negative is that valuable to society that you continue to search out things that you were not a part of. For me, I can't do that. It don't apply to me, so I don't go looking for it to be negative. I've had experiences and a lot of stuff that I'm able to say that's not for me. Like, people swear that, it's these agendas going on, and it may be. It may be agendas to do a lot of stuff. But you going out of your way to be negative about something that doesn't apply to you. Like, I always think about this, like I said, it's the now what. Okay? What does this do to me as a person? Does this affect my citizenship? Does it affect my financial situation? Does it affect my family? Right? As a parent, I go through this all the freaking time, and it's so annoying. Oh, they're trying to make everything gay. Oh, they're trying to push this and they're trying to push that, right? If they're pushing it so much, why are you letting your kids watch it if that's how you feel? Also, are your kids coming to you and telling you, yo, I feel gay because I watched a TV show? And if they did, more than likely they was already there. You don't go eating food that you don't like. It got an F on the door at the restaurant, but you still go in and then complain that the food was nasty, that the place was dirty. Like, people have their now what's confused. You don't have to be the first person. Like you're not getting no points for being disrespectful towards things that don't even affect you. That's coward shit. If it's affecting you, by all means, talk about it, bring it up. But if it does not apply to you and your life, leave it alone. That's why, for me, as a result to conflict and drama, I don't have none. It be so much stuff going on in the world. Like, I can look these things up and I can offer an opinion and be disrespectful because of what I feel emotionally. It's not offering anything. As a parent dealing with they try to make everything gay, that affects me as a parent. So for me, my opinion is, my kids that never came to me and said, I feel a way about my favorite show because it's this or it's that. In the event they come to me and say, oh, well, I don't feel comfortable with this and that, blah, blah, blah. All right, don't watch it. That's what trips me out. You have free will not to watch it, but you want to be in the know. You want to be in the cool crowd. So you go to the places that have negative reviews because, I want to experience it for myself. You watch these shows even after people say, I wouldn't watch it because of this, because of that. You get on these trends and you see this stuff on the news, and so much just going on that don't apply. And I'm not even trying to act holier than thou or anything. I just learned very, very early that when shit don't apply to me and I give it energy, it creates unnecessary stress for me. Because now I'm invested in something that at the end of the day gives me no value or takes none away from me. I'm not a person who think my opinion is valuable on every single subject. I speak about what I go through. I try to help people that could be going through similar things than me. I've been through too much to not be this way now. I've been able to limit my emotions on a lot of stuff because I see it from a logical standpoint. I know because of who I am and because of how emotional I used to be, how easily my emotions can get me in trouble. This is for all living people, all living things, beings. When you respond it from an emotional standpoint, 9 times out of 10, it's going to get you in trouble. So I learned that for me, I have to be able to, in real time, take a deep breath, no matter how I'm feeling, no matter how it hurts, and stick to the plan. What now? Do I want to still talk to this person? Do I want to still deal with this company? Do I still want to get these services? Do I want that, or am I cool with just being like, all right, I'm done, and respond that way? I'm um I'm looking for the change, right? And not the change in other people, but the change in myself. I keep telling y'all accountability. I'm going to talk about accountability every chance that I get because that's where it starts. It starts with really taking the lessons that you were taught by your family, things that you learned from the streets. It takes all of that for you to start thinking about, all right, what do I want to do and how do I want to do it? Like, why am I sitting here trying to convince someone of something that they already know? It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. We in this place to where society would rather discourage you from doing what you're trying to do or being who you are. They're in this state of mind that it's better to make you feel bad than to just ignore it. Again, I know, we've been fighting for rights for years and years and decades and centuries. And, everybody has to fight for what they believe in and who they are. And I agree with that. Fight for what you believe in. If you have allies support your people in what they believe in. But going out of your way to discredit, to discourage, to make people feel uncomfortable, that's where I feel like society is really fucked up. Like what does it cost you if I get treated fairly? I'm saying that as a universal I'm asking that as a universal question for whatever demographic. I want you to like let that be a standing question. When people are being disrespectful and people are coming at you for your preferences, or people are coming at you for your respectful opinions and stuff like that, or just things that you believe in general, like just I just blacked for a minute because I'm so tired of people feeling like it's so important to discourage. me being treated fairly doesn't take away anything from you. Me being respected for the work that I put in takes nothing. It doesn't take anything. And this is like, my group chat was laughing at me. I think it was last week or the week before, because I was telling them, like, half the time I don't be knowing what's going on, unless they post it into the group chat, or if they post it, because I don't follow a bunch of people. I block a lot of pages just off the strength of, I don't think negativity is funny. And so if reposted in a way that you're looking for laughs, I gotta block you, because that's a mental thing. If you're bringing awareness, trying to help, that's something completely different. But if it's to laugh at, and disrespect and or spread propaganda, I gotta block you. So my social media life fits my business life, fits my real life. I have a very low tolerance for disrespect. I have a very low tolerance for chaos. I have a very low tolerance for anything outside of peace. Again, I know that I'm going to have days that are not peaceful. I know that I'm going to have to deal with situations that are not peaceful. But I go out of my way to make sure there is as much peace around me as possible. Even if that is just me being around my kids. Been through too much. I've been through too much. I gotta mind my business. I've been punched in the face before. Like, a lot of people haven't been punched in the face before, so you don't know any better. And I mean both physically and metaphorically. So you don't know any better to mind your fucking business. You think that you should be negative about that because it's different than you. You think you should be talking about other cultures' food because you think your opinion is that valuable. Like, like, just think about it from the smallest to the largest things. Like, people go out of their way. There's no convincing them like, now what? Okay, cool. You don't like that. You told me you don't like that. How does it make you feel for you to tell me that you didn't like that, something that does not apply to you? How does that make you feel? Like, we have this idea that we have to tear everything down that we don't like. It's so weird to me. I remember, like, being a child, was like, I don't like that. I like that. I don't like that. So much, like what happened to those simple phrase, where like people can't even say no. Like, no is a complete sentence. No. If you don't give an explanation, you're looked at as being weird. No. If I don't like it, I don't have to tell you why. I don't like it. If we are friends and we are having hey, I listened to this. Did you listen to that? Did you like it? That's a different story. But I can, even then, if I want, I can say, nah, I don't like it. I don't have to go on and be extra. Even if I do like it, because a lot of times you'll be like, yo, I like that. I love that. They'd be like, me too. End the conversation. Oh, that was fire. End the conversation. So why is the boundary always the point of conflict? Why are we not seeing that? Like every time a boundary is set, the conflict approaches. And that's because people don't respect boundaries. People don't understand that your opinion is not as valuable as you think. Your advice is not as great as you think, good or bad. It's like I humble myself so that others don't have to. That's why I make sure that I'm speaking from my experience, not my perspective. I'm being factual, and this is what I went through. This is what I'm fighting. This is how I'm getting through it. I can't advise you how to get through what you could be going through the same thing that I'm going through. Same exact thing, right? Your life experiences changes because of my life experiences. We didn't have the same life experiences. So this one situation that we're going through together, yeah, it's the same. But how we handle it is different because how we grew up, what conditions we grew up in, what place in the country or the world we grew up in. So I can't tell you, you should not feel that way. You can't tell me you should not feel that way. That's what we don't understand. I see a lot of times where people, oh, I went through that. It's not that bad. Da, da, da. No, what's that bad for you? Because you're mentally calloused, you're heartless. It doesn't affect you like that. I'm emotional. I'm sensitive. I'm vulnerable. So it's going to affect me. I mean, I'm gonna deal with it, but it's going to affect me. And in a lot of times, in both, in all genders, it's weird that we're not allowed to have all emotions. I can't be vulnerable and sad and also be a fighter and protective. Because they're going to say you acting tough when you are a person who is peaceful and docile. You're acting tough. If you're a person that they assume is aggressive or you have aggressive traits and you're calm, oh, you being a bitch. Well, we can't have all emotions. This is why I'm not trying to convince nobody of anything. Either you're going to respect the boundary or you're not going to need the boundary because you're never going to hear, speak again. So it's always that boundary set, now what? So instead of the now what being, me fighting and me arguing, me cussing and me screaming, kicking, scratching, now the now what is the boundary? Okay, you are doing that. I don't like it. Now what? You have two choices. Either you're not going to do that or you're going to get the fuck away from me. Why is that so hard in the world? The boundary, think about how insane people have to be, how as a whole we are, that a boundary creates a conflict. That's the weirdest thing. If I tell you no, I gotta be ready to fight. I gotta be ready to possibly fight physically, for sure fight mentally. I gotta have a whole story of why I said no. I gotta have a whole situation of why I don't think that that's right. I can't just say I don't like that because I don't like it. I can't say, yo, this not for me. It's like we want to pull in these arguments. We want to get these random opinions from people that don't matter. You can sit there and you can tell someone no, and they'll just keep nagging, keep nagging, keep nagging. And then now you mad, and it's like, nah, all right, fuck it. Here, this why. Now you done ruined the whole relationship because you was trying to respect the issue, not necessarily the person, but hey, it don't involve me. I don't care no way or the other about it. But since you are not accepting the boundary of it's not for me, or no, or I don't want to, now I'm about to flame you with all the emotions that I was going to keep to myself. We are incapable of respecting boundaries. Like really, like think about how many boundaries are disrespected daily. Think about how many times and how many people you know that go out of their way to bring up stuff that don't involve them for comedic value, for like to disrespect and silence, to be rude or not disrespect and silence, disrespect among their group. It's weird to me. Like we talk about stuff in a group chat, but we have boundaries to where it's certain things we'll flame each other. Like, bro, why like that's not funny. Like y'all sense of humor be wild sometimes. And that ain't for everybody. And we have that clear understanding in our group chat. But it's so many people, if you let them, they'll pull you in and you start seeing like, man, you start seeing a lot of stuff when you quiet. I've always been an observer. Always. And the things that I've seen, the things that I've heard, the things that that people have said to me in secrecy and don't understand why I don't speak to them no more. Like, fam, I don't know what type of person you thought I was, even in my worst alcoholic, smoking, blacking out after blacking out, smoking weed, like abusing the kid. Even in my worst, I was not that. It don't make me better than you because I have my own demons that I'm fighting, but I'm not that. I'm not with hurting someone else to make me feel better on any level. That's not funny to me. Those are human beings. I don't find joy in people's pain. I've been hurt before. I've been abused before. I've been mentally abused before. I've been in all those situations. I'm strong enough to have to just deal with it by myself. Not saying that they're weak because they are able to, like, to me, they have more strength because people who are able to deal with their abusers and abuse outwardly, they're way stronger than people like me who just try to deal with it mentally and process and try to forget it. I'm triggered by things that happen, and it'll break me down. People who are outwardly fighting, like I commend them because they're hanging on purposely to the trigger so they could fight it head on. I said to y'all before, I'm not known for knocking people out in any way, but I'm a defender. And that's how I live in my mental health journey as well. And I'm not saying that that's healthy. I'm not saying it's going to work for everybody, but I'm dealing until you pull me out. And if you pull me out, I'm going to defend to the end. But otherwise, I'm gonna mind my business, and I'm gonna try to get through it, because the now what of, if I start being outward, right, it's gonna create this high level of malice in me. I know me. Once I get to fighting for something, and especially when it's stuff that I feel was done to me, it's a game changer. It's something that clicks to me, like, oh, we're gonna be negative, we're gonna fight. All right, let's take it to the most extreme. And two things that come to mind is that my kids watching, and who gonna take care of my kids if I go to jail or die from me responding outwardly to something that it's not gonna change. Either they don't remember, they don't see it that way, or they don't believe that it was done. That's why I don't argue with people. That's why I'm not open about things that have happened to me and things that I've been through. I'm not trying to convince nobody. The pain is real. I'm not going out of my way to try to get an ego boost. I don't care about none of that. I don't want sympathy, and I don't want an ego boost. I just want to be left alone. I want to be able to go through what I'm going through and figure it out the best way that I can, for the better. And me wasting energy fighting people, or arguing with people, arguing with society, complaining, like, where's the solution? I can sit here and say I hate my job and they get on my nerves, yada yada, whatever. Now, because I have a business that I'm pouring my all into to get me out of that position. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, me saying I hate my job and just sitting on my ass with ideas in my head to make money, to make a living from, through my craft, through my passion. What that sound like? I hate the job, but I'm not doing anything to even try to give me a break from the job or take me completely away from the job. That's why now I feel free of saying the hell with this job. That's why now I can express my true feelings about the job, because I'm not just sitting there saying I don't like the job. I'm doing something to try to get me to the next level so I can get out of the job. That's what I mean about my now what. Okay, you don't like the job. 6 years ago, that was a complaint. 3 years ago, that's an encouragement. Like, I don't like this job. All right, build a business. Now what? I built a business. I'm doing what I have to get money for my kids. I'm doing what I have to build up a brand that, like I said, if it hits if it hits 1 million, if it hits 500,000, who knows? But what it's doing is planting a seed. So when they get to their what now, this won't be a struggle that they have to deal with. This won't be a struggle that they are clueless about. I want to make sure that they don't have the same mental battles that I have. I want to make sure that they don't have to go through things unnecessarily. I want to be able to sit back and watch them live their life and grow and be prepared to answer questions. I know as a parent, we want to keep those training wheels throughout life. And, oh, you going down the same road that I went down, yada, yada, whatever. They got to learn. They got to learn. I remember my brother used to tell me in regards to my business, bro, I went through this so you don't have to go through it. And he's always available if I have any questions about the business. But I don't bother him a lot because his experience is different than mine. So how he got to the answers that he has is going to be different. And if I go by what the answers to it, like if I ask him something that he went through and he gives me that answer, I'm not going to know how it feels. I'm not going to fully understand it and be able to apply it because I didn't go through it. And I'm not saying like struggle type stuff. I'm just saying in general, it's certain things that we have to allow them to create their own what now. I want my kids to always know that I'll always be their first resort if they need it. But there's going to come a point to where I have to be strong enough to understand I am the last resort. And so I have to be prepared that when they do come to me, that they've exhausted all of their what now. I want to make sure that they're not going out of their way to be disrespected. I want to make sure that they are aware of how people will go out of their way to disrespect them. It's human nature. Society is just a revolving door of negativity, and it's all highlighted. I'm a person of, I don't want the kudos. I don't want the praise. Like, that's not something that I aspire to have. However, if you go out of your way to make me feel bad, if you go out of your way to be negative towards me, when I do something good, you better have the same energy. You better have the same exact energy that you had when you was trying to tear me down. I don't look for outer praise. I don't like, my main thing is my kids. I'll sit at that computer for hours trying to design stuff, and my kids will be like, "That's ugly," and I'll be like, "All right, bet." I'll sit there and I'll try to design stuff, and "Dad, that's, oh my God, do you have kid sizes? Can you get kid sizes? Yada yada, whatever." I'll do a poem, and they'll be like, "Oh, that was cool. That was straight." Or, "Dad, that was fire." That's what I care about. I care about encouraging them. I care about making sure that they have something to grow up, to aspire to be. I want their now what to say to them. I'm stuck in this one situation, or I'm stuck here, and they now what? Well, Dad was in this and he did this. Let me see if that works. Let me add it to what I'm already doing. I tell my kids when they arguing, okay, what's the outcome? The outcome or what's the aftermath of the situation? The house still needs to be clean. Y'all still not playing on a PlayStation. Y'all still not going outside until it's done. The oldest two argue about the kitchen like all the time. And I be having to stop them like, bro, neither of y'all are going to get to do what you want to do until you clean up your mess. So use that, like, figure that part out. Y'all arguing for nothing, because even if one of y'all is supposed to do it, you're not about to go just live life like you didn't just help mess it up. It's important that we understand that. It's important that we're not going into situations blinded by what has been going on for decades and centuries. I'm one person, I'm one voice, and that's how I live my life. If it don't affect me, I'm not going out of my way to search for it, to be negative towards it. I don't care what it is. I don't care what subject it is. If it don't apply to me, I don't really have a bunch of opinions about it. Bad or good. I want everybody to flourish. I want everybody to feel safe. I want everybody to succeed. I want everybody to go through the journey that they need to go through to get to where they need to get. I'm not one of the people that feel like, oh, you like my opinion is so great that you need to listen to what I'm saying. Like just going like fam. I don't know if y'all remember Matilda, right? That movie Matilda. In the movie, the dad told her, I'm smart, you're dumb, I'm big, you're little, I'm right, you're wrong, and there's nothing that you could do about it. That's literally how people be treating you when they feel like they have more money than you, when they feel like their social status is better than yours, when they feel like, oh, I went to college and you didn't go to college, or like society really has people fucked up. The way that the world operates and the way that, they designate classes, the way that it's set up for certain ethnicities to do better or worse than the others, the disrespect between men and women, the pay gap, like, huh? Like how is it 2022 and we are still going through the same exact things year after year after year after year? Like that statement stuck with me from the time I saw it till now. And it's going to always stick with me. And it helps me understand when I'm being disrespected that people really just don't grasp life in a realistic light. And they let tangible items, they let money, they let their car, they let the type of house that they have, they let all those things make them feel that they are more powerful than the next person. And I mentally, like I always say, like, you are that way because you have more than the person you are speaking to. But more doesn't mean better. Bigger doesn't mean better. Who you trying to prove something to? I always think about this thing, right? One of my friends, Blueford, his pops was a janitor, and back then nobody knew the importance of being a janitor. Like to us little dumbass kids, your dad pick up trash, your dad clean gum off the desk and yada yada whatever. And when you little, that's all you see. You're not really paying attention to the severity of or the need of a janitor. And his dad wasn't just a janitor. We didn't learn it till later. Like he was like the head person. When we started getting older, or when I started getting older and really just looking at life, and I started thinking, if there's no janitor, if there's no housekeeper, if there's no window washer, trash builds up, funk builds up, filth builds up. Business is not going to be able to be ran because the people who do the cash register and the people who book the rooms and the people who advertise that's not their job. That's beneath them. So who really is the most important? And I started thinking about that in life in general. People are disrespected for having quote unquote low grade jobs, and you want to argue how much they should and shouldn't get paid. And if you pay them this, you gotta do that. And the reality of it is, we are all essentially, and I'm not talking, and let me not say all, the majority of us are all basically making $15 an hour compared to the cost of living of where we live at. It's very, it's, I would be very, very surprised if your monthly bring home can match your monthly bills at the lowest level, even at the mid level. But we're okay with disrespecting each other. We're okay with having these random fights about nothing. We are cool with disrespecting our neighbors. We're okay with that. I refuse to what I'm going through mentally. I refuse to involve myself in that. Like I really be thinking like, what am I losing and what am I gaining? Like really, like arguments are just smoke and mirrors, for real. Like I know that there's some people who listen to the podcast and be like, I know he think he's so profound, but this is something small. And I don't think I'm profound. I'm just getting to those epiphanies for me. I know it's simple, but I know that there's people out there that it hasn't clicked in their head yet. I had to fight to get to this place of thinking. I had to fight to get to this place of peace. I had to fight to understand that in the middle of an argument, right? And not even in the middle, but as you're arguing, nothing's being solved. Arguments are solely done for ego's sake. There's two outcomes. You gonna stay or you gonna go. So a lot of times the argument is not needed. Being defensive is not needed. Physical fights useless. I said that earlier. It's a lot of that stuff is useless because, okay, you beat me up. You want an argument. It's still what it is. So why are you exerting your energy? Why are you wasting your energy on trying to prove people right? Right. Why are you wasting your energy on being negative towards something that don't apply to you? Either help or get the fuck out the way. It's simple as that. If it don't apply to you, move. If you choose that you want to help, then help. But don't go in like I'm only helping you because blah blah. No, choose to help or don't. It's so frustrating that this is just the way that life is. I'm not arguing with you online. I'm not fighting you. Like I'm not picking a fight, which I'm not doing none of that. If you like me, cool. If you don't, cool. If you think I'm lame, cool. If you don't think I'm lame, cool. I'm able to say that with my whole chest and understand it because I've been dealing with myself. Okay, your marriage didn't work. Now what? Okay, your relationship with your daughter's mom didn't work. Now what? Your relationship didn't work with your ex, fiance. Now what? You hate the job. Now what? Kennedy passed. Now what? It's too much going on that I have to deal with in my mind to be going out of my way and finding trouble. It's too much going on to allow people to bring me trouble and bring me drama. So I have to curate a wall of peace. It doesn't make me oblivious to negativity. It doesn't make me, it doesn't blind me from what's going on in the world, but I can only help where I could help. But I'm not going to be negative about things. I'm just not. I'm not going to use that time to be disrespectful. I'm not going to use that time to talk about people who are different than me, because there's people out there right now who are struggling with the same depression, anxiety that I have. Somebody is talking shit about them right now. Somebody is talking about their hygiene. Somebody's talking about their memory loss. Somebody's talking about the way they are not groomed. Somebody is talking about that right now, not thinking about their mental disease, not knowing that all those things come from going through the mental stuff that you're going through. They just think you're dirty. They just think you're not groomed. Because they don't care to understand. It's a difficult road that we on. And if everybody just sat down and said to themselves, like, what if that was me? What if that was me? What if I was the one going through this mental thing that I can't control? What if I'm losing sleep? What if I'm, what if I'm losing weight? What if like it's so much stuff that goes on that people don't understand. The stress that comes with the depression, the stress that comes with the anxiety, the feeling of always almost being done with something, the feeling of like I'm almost there and never getting there, the irritation that it causes to your mind. Like what? Like what good is that? I'm going through depression. I thought it would be a little bit easier, and it's not. My anxiety is through the roof. I thought it would be a little bit better. It's not. But I'm not sitting on my ass. So I ask myself, now what? And my response is, I'm trying to heal myself. I'm trying to help heal others. One poem, one hoodie, one podcast, one book at a time. It's so much darkness in the world, and I refuse to sit back when there's so much light present. What's going on, y'all? Thank you for tuning in to the podcast. Head over to peacefullyflawed.com, www.peacefullyflawed.com, for Poetic Properties merch. If you want to support in any other way, you can tip me on the Poetic Properties Twitter page. And if you have good apps, you can tip me on there if you feel like it, or you want to donate to the podcast. All proceeds go to bettering the business and reinvesting into what we got going on. I thank you guys who have purchased the book so far. We still have a few more copies. You can also get that, plus digital copies of my albums on my website, peacefullyflawed.com. I want to thank you guys for all the support that you have given thus far, and I hope that you are able to continue to support in whatever way you can. Just know that no matter the darkness, you have the opportunity and ability to get to the light, and I love you guys. Peace.